me, we have something really crazy looking. This thing is called a SUPERLITE SLC. And the reason it's here is we're doing paint protection film on the front end of it. The gentleman that owns the car is planning on using it as a track car. So really we're just concerned about protecting the front end. He just had it repainted after he bought the car. And we're gonna make sure that it stays looking good for a long time, even with some track use. So this thing is not quite a kit car. I forget what the heck the name of it is, but basically it's like a made-to-order aluminum chassis. It's not built on another car's frame. They do have their own unique frame. It's designed specifically for this. But what's really cool is it's like a mid-engine car. It's got a all aluminum LS7 with a dry sump system in it. It's got CCW wheels, Willwood brakes, and the interior is really crazy. Got all exposed shift linkage. I mean, it's crazy, I guess. Not so crazy for a track car, but the thing that's weird about this is it's actually able to be streetable. It has headlights, turn signals, windshield wipers, all that stuff, and you can actually get a plate for this thing and drive it on the street. I don't believe that this particular person has a plate for it, or maybe he does. He does. I guess he drives this on the street. I was planning on it a little bit, but pretty cool. One striking feature of this car, of course, is this massive carbon fiber wing. This thing is like 7 feet long. It's a chassis mount. It's got a piece of protective tape on the front of it. I'm sure that thing gets a lot of abuse when this is traveling at very high speeds. In fact, the top speed of this is 254 miles per hour, which is completely insane. It's got 650 horsepower, I think. Let me double check that and make sure I'm right on that. 650 horsepower, 570 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, and it only weighs 2,600 pounds. So this thing's probably got to be a lot of fun to throw around a track. The tires are 315s on here, super wide. He also told me that I'm allowed to take it for a quick spin, so I'm pretty excited to do that. It's got a full tubular chassis setup. I don't see an actual cage, but all of this stuff is carbon fiber hydro dipped. This is not real carbon on this, or if it is real carbon, they for some reason dipped over it. It does have a fire suppression system built into the car, which is super cool. That's the only time I've ever seen that before. If you've ever taken a NASCAR for a trip around a track, you know there's a fire suppression system because they make sure that you know that in case something crazy happens. It has a 6-point harness. And like I said, the exposed shift linkage is super cool. It's got toggle switches for the fans, the ignition, the fuel pump. All of that stuff is manually controlled. So in addition to the paint protection film on the front of the car, we're also going to be doing a small piece on the seat. The owner said that every time you get in the car, your foot lands on the top of that seat and it scuffs it all up. So we're going to see if we can polish that out and then get a piece of film on there so that doesn't keep getting scratched up. The other thing you may notice is that the wheel is off the car. Makes it a lot easier to get in and out. It's got a quick release steering wheel, of course. In the back of the car, you've got this fitting, this airline fitting. And this comes off, of course, but the reason it's on here is you hit this with air, and it's got a jack system in it that lifts the entire car off the ground at one time. So we haven't done that yet. I'm not exactly sure how high it lifts the car, but that allows you to take all the wheels off the car, makes for a quick pit stop scenario, I guess. So that's pretty cool. I've never seen that on another street legal car in my life. So to drive the car is a little bit of a process, more so than just get in and hit the push button start. So there's a big kill switch here. Got to make sure we turn that to the on position. That I'm assuming feeds power to the rest of the car. And then you fall in. I don't know how a person much taller than me can get in this thing. Then we've got an ignition switch, fuel pump switch, and a fan switch. There is no key to start the car. We'll snap our steering wheel on. All right, so as you can see beside me, the SUPERLITE has the front end removed from it. We did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, that allows us access to these vents, and in order to do a one-piece front end paint protection wrap like we're gonna try to do, we need these off of here. And also we can get these off. So these are the adjusters for the carbon fiber splitter. We're gonna be able to take those off for the same reason that we need those vents out. It comes off surprisingly easy, or maybe not surprisingly since it's built to be on a track, but there's some clamps back here underneath the back that are in the fender, and then there's 6 bolts underneath the front, 2 waterproof connectors that you can see exposed there, and then you and a friend, I guess, just need to grab it and walk forward, and that's it. Front end comes off the car. It's early in the morning. We came in before everybody else because we want to get the film laid on this hood. I have 72-inch film from XPEL. This just came out. This allows us to do Porsche Macan hoods and Ferrari FF and Ferrari Lusso hoods all in one piece. Apparently also SUPERLITE SLC hoods. We're going to give this thing a shot in one piece for the most part with maybe a seam on that body line. Sort of uncharted territory. I don't know anybody that's done one of these yet, so see how it goes. All right, so what's in my hand are not coffee mugs, although they look like it. So these are like basically locks for the jacking system that this car has. The posts come down out of the car. This slides in, you take the air off of it, the car settles down on top of these and sits at this height. Then you can work on it freely, don't need an air compressor hooked up to it, and it's safe. That's it. So Aaron is installing the remaining pieces on the front end of the SUPERLITE right now. The 2 corners of the bumpers, even with a 72-inch piece of film, it was impossible to get those in one piece. It was just too big. Also, the complexity of the curve, I think, would have made it really difficult even if we had film that was big enough. But one thing you might notice when he's working is that the headlight covers are now off the car, and when we wrapped the hood, they were on the car. So the reason for that is after we wrapped the hood, cleaned it all up, and started looking over it, we realized that there was a lot of debris underneath the film. And so that will create a little bubble where the film basically tents up over the piece of dirt. And it wasn't just a speck here and there, which is normal and acceptable in an install. It was everywhere. What we ended up figuring out was on this fender, these vents were drilled through the fiberglass, and because of that, fiberglass sheds and goes all over the place, and it had these little white shavings, and even though we cleaned it really well and prepped it thoroughly, what happened was anytime water would get in those holes, the water would run down through the rest of the hood and it would carry those little tiny white dots with it, and we couldn't even see them when we were installing, but the film really amplifies stuff like that. We ended up having to remove the film that we installed the first time and redo the hood altogether, but we had to tape off around all these holes to make sure that all that dirt didn't come running out. So sometimes stuff like that happens, sort of uncharted territory when you're doing a vehicle like this. You don't know what to expect. Next time we do a fiberglass front end, we're gonna make sure we cover any holes where things were drilled in. we are about to take the SUPERLITE out for a quick spin. It has a plate on it, it is street legal, we've got turn signals, headlights, and everything that makes a car legal. We let it warm up, so we're just gonna go for a quick little ride here and see how she runs. This is with the owner's permission, of course. Thank you, Denny, I appreciate it. Second gear one more time because that's too awesome. Go 1 mile and we pass a state trooper. Apparently he thought it was legal too, so we must be good. So we're all finished up with the SUPERLITE. It is going home. You guys saw everything that we did to it. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. And if you have a project you need protected, give us a call.